going on, everyone? Bobby and Ali back. This is week 6 of our talk show, and we're going to get right into free agency and draft. We have some heated debates for you.
Fireman Ed, take it away.
He says, get over here. He says, get on my shoulders. I go on his shoulders. It's about the Jets. It's about the 12th man. It's about the home field advantage.
What we did it for, not for so much attention, but it cost the other teams a lot of times they had to take an unnecessary
You like this song?
timeout.
I love this song. I know you do.
With my loyal
I challenge everybody to have their best game today. Do the little things that I was told, so we're going to come out victorious.
Yeah, with my loyal Jets fans, where y'all at? Yeah, yeah, with my New York Jets fans for the Jets podcast, where y'all at? Where y'all at?
So, Jets had a very, very busy free agency period. They were very active. And Bobby, I had a question for you. Who do you think was the most underrated signing that the Jets had?
All right, so obviously we know the big names like Le'Veon Bell, C.J. Mosley, but I think the most underrated signing is Jamison Crowder. So the Jets 2 years ago made a great trade for Jermaine Kearse. We were all in love with it. We were like, wow, we get a second round and Kearse for Sheldon Richardson. However, Kearse kind of fell off last year and was not very productive at all. And now, so getting Jamison Crowder fills that slot position for the Jets.
Do you think he'll be a bigger update for the ramped up offense with Le'Veon Bell, Robbie Anderson coming off a great second half of the season, and then Quincy Unwell coming back from an injury? Do you think he'll add to what the Jets need to work with a good offense?
Yeah, definitely. So the Jets, they're still lacking that number one receiver, which sucks. They don't have that A.J. Green, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. They don't have that true number one. But Jamison Crowder is a short guy that you can trust for the short routes. So Sam Darnold, he has Robbie Anderson over the top, but then he gets Jamison Crowder down low. So he was injured last season, so that's why his stats are low, although this guy is capable of having a 1,000-yard season.
The thing about Jets wanting the number one wide receiver, fans wanting the number one wide receiver, I agree with that in some points, but having talent everywhere is more important than having a number one wide receiver. People are saying when we started Crowder, he's not a number one wide receiver. We all know that, but it's more important to have some guy that's reliable and have weapons all over. You know, Tom Brady never had a number one. He had Edelman, Gronk. These are not number ones. Jared Goff didn't have a number one. He had Cooks. He had Gurley, all these other guys that stepped in and they went to the Super Bowl. So you don't need a number one to win games and win a Super Bowl. It's just an added piece that maybe a young quarterback would want, but more talent around him is much better than just having a number one.
Yeah, you make a great point, and especially now you look at Bell. Obviously, everyone knows what he can add and bring to the table, but so you bring a guy in like Bell, Crowder, you keep Anunwa, Anderson, Herndon, so now you know, he has a great arsenal that he can use, as opposed to that one receiver, like you mentioned. There's not that Julio Jones, but they take the route that the Patriots, the Rams take, and they get more than one weapon, and that can really solidify the Jets' offense.
So you went to the offensive side for most underrated. I went on defensive side, and it's actually not a signing that we would want, but it's a re-signing of Henry Anderson. I think he had a great year this year, and he's just going to be an added piece for that team coming back. You know, the Jets trusted him, and the scheme change is not going to affect him, which was really good news for Henry Anderson. But he had a career year. He had a great year with the Jets. You know, he had the most sacks on the team, and like he showed in and out, he was coming in every game and playing his heart out, and that's why he deserved that contract and the re-signing. And with the revamped defense with Mosley in there, I think Anderson wanted to stay there, to be honest, because of how much, like with Adams and all this, there's so much potential in this defense. This honestly this is more exciting than 2009-2010 season, to be honest, for me, because the defense is still really good and they could be really good. We still got the draft to come along. We can bring young guys in. And with Jamal Adams, the leader, he's going to attract a lot of other people, and he attracted Mosley and Bell.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how defensive coordinator Coach Greg Williams decides to use
He's a
Henry
beast.
Anderson in
He's a
this.
beast.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to
He's a
see
beast.
how he uses him in this new defense because we're not sure. We've heard reports that maybe the Jets are gonna not only do a 3-4 scheme, however they're gonna use their 4-3 as well. And I think that Henry Anderson will fit in best in the 4-3. However, if he is out there on the field while they're in the 3-4 set, I think it's going to be very interesting to see where he lines up on the defensive line.
You know, so I just pulled up his stats. He had 35 tackles and 7 sacks. That's amazing for a guy that we just signed on a little small deal. You know, Mike McCann hit on a lot of things, and people don't give enough credit for him. He just has to hit the draft now. And he hit the free agency completely. We liked every signing. I don't see any of Jet fans hating on a signing this year. So I think he needs to transition to the draft. And that's what's really important for me.
Yeah, I agree. So McCagnon, he does get a lot of hate for his draft picks. Last year wasn't too bad. You know, you got some players who have potential in the later rounds. Herndon, possibly Trent Cannon. I'm not giving up on him yet. But we've seen free agency. He's really done well. Kirk Cousins didn't want to come to the Jets. Anthony Barr, yes, he went back on his contract that he initially agreed with. But just like Cousins, he didn't really want to be in New York. But he's getting guys and giving them great deals. The Le'Veon Bell deal, the way that they structured that, is amazing. The incentives are laid out to where Bell has to report to camp, and he's going to want to because he gets $3 million just for reporting to camp.
That's very true. What I was going to say is, you know how you mentioned Jamison Crowder as being your underrated? I think he's going to be the most impactful for the New York Jets. I think the reason I just said, he just brings a it factor. I think he's a guy that can be a reliable guy that he can just pass it down to. If Bell is not even open, Robbie's going deep, Quincy's going to stay short, and Crowder's a slot guy. And he's going to have a lot. I think he'll have the most yardage on this team on offense with wide receivers. I think he'll have a much better year. You know, he has talent. People just overlooked him after the injury that he had last season. And he actually is a solid guy to bring in. But you know, it just didn't work out for him over there. Now he has a new scheme. He has Adam Gase he's a wizard at offense. He has an offensive-minded guy. He's definitely going to get him involved. And like you said earlier, they were saying that Bell is not going to be involved. Of course he's going to be involved. But Jamison Crowder is going to be the guy the Jets look at when they need a reliable first down. Or he's going to be the Edelman for the New York Jets.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned that he could lead them in yardage. He'll possibly lead them in receptions as well because him, Bell, and other players like Herndon will be open underneath while Anderson's stretching the field deep over the top. So it's going to be very interesting.
And the one thing I like about his game is yards after catch. I think he has a burst of speed. I saw all his film where when he catches the ball, he can take it all the way down if he wants to. We don't know how he's going to be after the injury, but what I've heard that he's better. He's feeling better, and he's going to be the same that he was before. So it's a lot of things that we're gonna have to see in camp before we decide on what's gonna actually happen with the Jets. But I think we're on a good track, and to say that we're not in the playoff contention or like talk about playoffs is kind of outrageous. We are in the talk. I do believe that we're in the talk of the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to go far in the playoffs, but we are in the talks, and the Jets should be proud that they went from a top below team to a complete playoff contender team that can actually contend with all these AFC East teams.
Without a doubt. And I think that on the defensive side, for me, I put my most impactful signing is CJ Mosley. Now, a lot of people say, yeah, that's obvious, but this guy does it all. He only has one season in his career under 100 tackles. That's a pretty great stat. 4-time Pro Bowler. I mean, adding someone like that, yes, they gave him top dollar, but I think that he's worth every penny of it.
I don't think money matters anymore. I don't care. People overreact with the money. You know, the NBA overpays, MLB pays over. Why not the NFL? It's time to change, man. And it's the NFL now. People want money, and they're still gonna play. People just are not gonna be like, oh, this is it. It's the NFL now, and they're putting their lives on the line. They could be hurt for the rest of their life and be a cripple. So they deserve the money. I don't care about the and Mosley is a guy that can come in and he's a leader. Like Adam Gase said in his press conference last week, he said that they were surprised that he hit the market. And when he was on the market, they were on it, and they knew they had to get that deal done.
Yeah.
Because they wanted that guy on the defense. Who cares about what's on the team? And he's the guy that the Jets liked, and I'm happy that the Jets got him.
Yeah, and ultimately he makes the players around him better too. So a guy like Jordan Jenkins, Avery Williamson, both linebackers are gonna be helped tremendously just by the signing because C.J. Mosley can take care of the coverage while you have Jenkins rushing on the outside, or it frees up Avery Williamson to do other things. So C.J. Mosley is gonna do a lot more than just record stats.
He's gonna be a leader on that team. He's gonna be a locker room leader. And it's gonna be a fun season to see how these young guys, we named Henry Anderson, Jamison Crowder, all these guys come in and be the star that we want.
The only downside I'm going to say about C.J. Mosley is that he doesn't hit the quarterback enough. Last season, he only had 2 quarterback hits. And I'm not talking about 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits. So that could be one downside that people look at the negative. However, that's just not his style of play. The Jets know what they're getting with him. So don't expect him to be, jumping over the line and getting to the quarterback fast. He's the guy who's going to sit back in coverage, get you an interception or 2, possibly some forced fumbles.
Honestly, I disagree with that because I think with Greg Williams off defense, I think he'll change that. I think in Baltimore, I think he has a better crew in New York. I think Greg Williams is a defensive-minded guy. He's probably the best one in the league, and he will change that. He will definitely. He probably already knows what you just said, that this was what happened, and they're gonna be like, let's excel in this part of the defense and let's help your game be even much better, and that's what we need.
The best part about it, though, he doesn't even have to because Jamal Adams rushes the quarterback as well. You bringing back Henry Anderson. He'll rush the quarterback as well. You get players, Jordan Jenkins, like I mentioned, perhaps someone in the draft, Nick Bosa, Josh Allen. Those players are going to be rushing the quarterback as well. You need someone to do the covering, and that guy could be C.J. Mosley.
Yeah, so Jets have a good future. I think the free agency went amazing. But what do you think for all the free agents that you think, name one bold prediction that you think the Jets will have?
My bold prediction is that Sam Darnold will pass for over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. He had 17 touchdowns last year in his rookie campaign, but I think that he has the weapons and assets to get over that 30 hump and be a top 10 quarterback by the end of the season.
There's not going to be a bold prediction. The Jets go to the playoffs. I think they make the playoff run. The teams that they're going to be playing against, when we looked at before free agency, we didn't think we're going to ever win against these opponents. Now we're thinking, yes, we maybe can win against these teams. We can win against anyone. Even the defending champs.
Yep.
We can beat anyone right now. We have a chance. We always have a chance. The New York Jets always have a chance. When I go watch the game on Sundays, even with like Geno Smith as a quarterback, Fitzpatrick as a quarterback, I knew the Jets always had a chance in the game because they're the most surprising team I've ever seen in my life. They can either come out firing, or they can come out completely
deflated. Yeah,
a complete crap. So the Jets have a chance of making the playoffs, and I do think they make the playoffs, and they end their drought.
Yeah, so you mentioned, the Jets in the past, they've been that team where you don't really know what you're getting. They're either going to come out flat or they're going to come out of the gates and, beat the New England Patriots. However, I think when you bring in a guy like Adam Gase, Greg Williams, and all these new players, I think that's gonna add some consistency, and we're gonna see more of a steady record rather than sitting in that 9-7, 8-8 range. Last year we were 4-12, and that's what Jets are used to. We're used to either barely making the playoffs or not making the playoffs at all. And I think finally now we can be over that hump and be more consistent.
Fans say that culture change hasn't come yet, right? The culture change is coming. It's not going to happen in a year or two. Jamal Adams just got here. This team is different now. We have playmakers on this team. We paid big dollars to get big-time guys that are proven to play well. We have Le'Veon Bell playing well. We know that he can play well. I don't care about the offensive line. He's still going to put at least 900 yards season and touchdowns up. Who knows? It can be even more. But the team is completely different from last season. This team at least has 8 wins in my mind. They at least have 8 wins, and they can excel that. It's just the team. I think it's like a little family now, I think. I think they're trying to build a family in the Jets, and it's working. They're attracting guys who want to be there. I'm happy Anthony Barr said no. I'm happy because he didn't want to be there. And I'm happy he said no. And people were overreacting that he said no because it's the Jets and all that. He said no because he doesn't want to be there. And we want people who want to be there.
He didn't want to leave Minnesota.
I wanted Humphreys, who maybe he said no to us. I wanted Golden Tate. He said no to us. Jamison Crowder's like, I want to go to the New York Jets, play with Sam Darnold. So what I see is the Jets are building a team where they trust the quarterback, they trust the defense, and they're building some chemistry together. And I think they actually have a chance of having success in the next 5-10 years, and they can start winning games, and then the Jets fans finally can have a chance of getting another Super Bowl.
Yeah, you bring a great point. People who want to be in the Jets, and certainly some rookies in the draft may want to come to New York at pick 3 as well. So after the break, we'll talk a little bit more and have some discussions about the draft.
See you later.
It's going to be amazing. I promise you.
The New York Jets select
Glad to have you, man. More than happy to have you.
Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC.
I love you.
Welcome to the East Coast.
We all saw Sam Darnold last year. We know that he has incredible talent.
Will you come home? Will you come home? I don't wanna be alone. I don't wanna be alone. Yeah. Will you come home? Will you come home? I don't wanna be alone. I don't wanna be alone. Yeah. I'm tired of seeing you hurt and all of the scars you earned. Feel like you need me, that constant reminder of how you worth. You say that you're doing just fine, but you say that every time. And judging by that whole response, I already know that you're lying. Here we go again, oh Lord, like here we go again. Type it all up, can't press it. Pouring up with all your friends. Keep telling me it's been a long night. Bit a couple more drinks to make you right. Taking off them heels, they way too tight. Take it out on me and start a fight. The things you saying, girl, it's hurting. I ain't perfect, but I promise it's all worth it. Issues.
We just talked about the free agency, how important the free agency period was. Now let's focus on the NFL draft. It's less than a month away. And who do you think, what we should do with the third pick?
All right, yeah, so it's first of all, it's crazy that the draft is less than a month away. It seems like everything's just happening at once, but that's why you love football.
You know, this week we're getting our New Jerseys. So.
Yeah, I know. They stretched out the whole year, right? So I think that the best move for the Jets is to stay at pick 3. Because I think a guy like Nick Bosa or Josh Allen will be there for the Jets. So you figure Kyler Murray is going to go 1. That seems like all the rumors. And at first I didn't believe it. I was like, are the Cardinals crazy? They just drafted Rosen. But now it's like, wow, this might actually happen. So then pick 2, either Bosa or Allen may go. Perhaps another team trades up and drafts a quarterback. Or maybe the 49ers take Quinnen Williams. So there's really no saying who's going to be there for the Jets at 3, but it will be either Bosa or Allen. And I think that you can't pass up on one of those players.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I think if the Jets get the right offer, I want the Jets to trade down. I think it's more valuable for the Jets to get more picks to fill up the needs that we need on what we didn't get in the free agency period.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say is that there's talks about how McCagnon's kind of flirting with it right now. I would absolutely hate it if the Jets traded pre-draft. The only way I wouldn't mind a trade down is if it's during the draft and we know what we're giving up.
Yeah, I agree because what I've heard, you know how you just said Kyle Murray is a definite 1? He's not. Because the Cardinals are looking at Bosa still. They had a conference call with him. They went out for dinner with him. They talked to him when they've been talking to him for a while. So I wouldn't say Kyle Murray is a definite 1 because on draft day anything can happen. The same thing would happen with Sam Darnold coming to 3 to us. And Baker Mayfield going 1. Who thought that? So I think the Jets are going to look to trade down. They're going to look and hear offers because I think the Jets have a lot of needs that they need to fill. They need to fill a center position, cornerback position, get a better offensive line, get another playmaker, and then get a pass rusher. So they have a lot more needs. But there's other guys that are. This is a draft with a lot of pass rushers that I actually do like. Bosa, Allen, they're on another level. But if Bosa goes 1, 2, 49ers are in the hot spot right now. And then they can honestly take Allen, and then what are we gonna do? Because we're gonna be like, oh, let's trade down now.
Yeah. Because
2 of the guys come out. Who knows? They're probably gonna get trade offers as well. But then we probably will get more trade offers than anyone because if Bosa and Allen
And
are
the
out,
quarterbacks are
and
still
we're looking
available.
to trade down, and quarterbacks, Kyler Murray is still available.
Haskins still available.
You can hear the Giants calling us, Broncos calling us, and Broncos can actually offer. We can put Darren Lee in it. You know, the Darren Lee has been in the process of being in the talks of the trading, and Jets don't want to be with him, and he doesn't like it there, and all these rumors are coming out, and it feels like the Jets want to move on from Darren Lee, and all reports indicate that. I think Greg Williams just wants to move on with him a little bit, and I think the Jets will move on with him. If it's not this year, next year he's gone. But I think this is a perfect time to get him involved in the trading and send him to Denver. Get some picks back and move down, take a deep breath, and then start drafting other guys, other positions that we need.
Well, the main reason why I think I anticipate a guy like Bosa or Allen being there at pick 3 because I could see say the Cardinals take Bosa. I think that the 49ers could go for Quinn Williams because they just got D Ford. So,
That's
I
a good point.
think that outside rusher could still be there for the Jets in Josh Allen.
Yeah, it just depends how high they're on Josh Allen. I'm high on Josh Allen, but we don't know if they are. Still.
That's true.
Because, and if there's a trade offer that comes out, I think a trade offer is better than taking Josh Allen. It depends what it is.
The main reason why I want the pass rusher is because we saw in free agency, everybody thought we had Anthony Barr. And then all of a sudden, he reneges and goes back to Minnesota, which is, it's fine. He didn't want to be in New York. We mentioned it earlier in our broadcast. I don't miss him. We want players who want to be here, right? Mm-hmm. But now, you still have that hole in the pass rusher spot. C.J. Mosley, not a pass rusher. Henry Anderson, yes and no, because we don't know where he's going to fit in the scheme. So, the perfect time is to get a pass rusher in this year's draft.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Josh Allen, Bosa are top ones. But there's other pass rushers in the draft. There's other guys that the Jets could draft and draft in the later rounds and maybe get more picks and get more for the future that the Jets are trying to build. And I think that's more important than just being like, oh, we want this guy. But if Jets have an option for Bosa or Allen, I think they will take the 3. But I think they're going to definitely test out what they can do with that pick and try to trade down. Even if they trade a little bit down, who knows, someone can drop. We don't know about draft day. Draft day is really weird about these things. All these big playmakers fall. And the Jets actually have a chance of getting other guys that can help the team. And if they trade down, they can get more picks. And they have a lot of roster spots open still that they need to fill. And they don't have much cap space anymore. So they need to fill those holes from the draft and try to get other guys in and young guys what the Jets are trying to do.
So who do you value more, Nick Bosa or Josh Allen?
I think Josh Allen's a better fit. Nick Bosa is an overall better player.
All right, so the Jets are on the clock. Nick Bosa and Josh Allen are both still there. Are you trading down?
No.
So that kind of goes back to my point. I think that if these two premier players are still on the board when the Jets are picking at 3, there's no way you could trade down. That's my main reason behind waiting to trade down.
But then who goes ahead of them?
I've seen a mock draft. Kyler Murray goes to the Cardinals, and then a team like the Raiders or the Dolphins trades up for a Haskins or Drew Lock. So that's a case scenario that I could see happening, and Bosa falls right into the Jets' lap.
It's hard to pass on Bosa, but
it's definitely a possibility.
Yes, if Bosa and Allen are there, Bosa is going to be a New York Jet. I do believe that. I think the Jets can't pass off on that. But if Josh Allen's the only guy available, I think the Jets could possibly trade down. I know there's rumors of Rissimini saying that he's available. They have hots for Josh Allen, and they think that he will be a New York Jet. But you can't say that a month before.
Most of that is just smoke screens, anyways.
It's a month before the draft. We thought we were going to get Baker Mayfield. We thought we were going to draft Baker Mayfield. We didn't know that, and he went number 1 to the Cleveland Browns. So minds change. Yeah. They're humans. They change their minds. We're going to change our minds too. So, we'll see how it plays out. I think we'll have a better picture in the next 2-3 weeks and see how the visitings, we have pre-draft visitings coming in. I think we have already planned one for Josh Allen. Bosa we haven't gone through yet, but I think Bosa's probably going to come through, but I think he's only met with Cardinals. And Cardinals are still interested in Bosa. That's the most important thing.
That's intriguing. It'll be interesting to see I guess a lot of that will dictate, can a team like the Giants, the Patriots, the Chargers offer the Cardinals that number one pick that they're looking for?
Teams to look out for is Giants. I think the Giants could trade up. They have 2 picks. They have 2 first-round picks, and if they really want a quarterback, they will go up. They're not going to live with Eli. He's going to be there for another year if they're smart enough, which there's a dumpster fire over there.
I can see that. Right now, the Giants have reportedly offered their second-round pick to the Cardinals for Josh Rosen. So, if a trade like that does happen, I think
the Giants are out of the picture.
And the Cardinals would take Kyler Murray, resulting in Bosa or Allen falling to the Jets.
Well, yeah, Josh. Well, we'll see. I don't think the Rosen deal is not going to happen until the draft, because they want to keep everyone questionable. Because if they do that early, that's a stupid move from the Cardinals, because you know that you're drafting a quarterback number 1 now, Giants are not trading up at all, and they're just going to keep their picks. But other guys that we would want are the Broncos. We want the Broncos to make an offer to us, and we will offer them Darren Lee, and get more picks for the. We would literally just offer Darren Lee and our pick, and get other picks.
I wouldn't mind shipping Darren Lee to the Broncos or whoever's interested, because he just doesn't fit into the defense. There's no room for him. He's right now probably in the depth chart, middle linebacker 3, with Williamson and Mosley ahead of him. I think his time in New York is just done.
Yeah, I think they're trying to move on from him, and I don't think Mosley's deal was the reason he's going. I think there's more reason. I think they just got Mosley because he's CJ Mosley, and he's a guy that can come in and be a playmaker for that defense, and he's a ball hog. He's a dog, and that's why they brought him. I don't think they were questioning Darren Lee at that time, but now you think about it, and like you're just like, I don't want him.
There's no
reason to keep him.
He's suspended. He's getting into trouble. There's no reason to keep a guy like that.
It's gonna be a football move if they get rid of him.
There's no reason to keep a guy like that on the field.
Yeah. So so you think you're just gonna staying at the 3rd pick?
I think our best bet is to stay at pick 3. However, don't get me wrong. If Bosa goes pick 1, Allen goes pick 2, whether it's a trade offer or if the 49ers indeed select him at pick 2, I wouldn't mind trading down, because then we're going to get a lot of picks, and you really can't pass up on that. Because if we get, like you said, a future pick from the Giants or the Broncos or whoever wants to trade up, the Dolphins, who knows who wants to trade up for a quarterback, those teams are not going to be in the running really for playoff contention next year. So their pick could be a top 10 pick next year.
Yeah, so next week we'll go into more of like who the Jets could draft in the later rounds. I do think they're not going to go skill positions like a wide receiver, but I think it's going to be interesting how the Jets work around it the next month. We'll figure out what they're trying to do. There might be minor signings here and there. We still got a center position. There's a couple of centers still out there in free agency that haven't signed yet. So I think the Jets may be working on getting a guy, maybe even after the draft. But I wouldn't be surprised even with the tight end. The Jets got another tight end. You know, if Adam, like you just said, Adam Gase with the 2 tight end formation.
Yeah, kind of like Aaron Hernandez and Gronk. Who knows? The Patriots could do it.
I'm telling you, the Jets don't care about the number 1 wide receiver. People need to understand they don't care about the number 1 wide receiver. They just want playmakers on that team. And if they get another tight end, he's just another body to help Sam Darnold be protected and
more assets.
Obviously, the Jets got they just signed a lot of tight ends back. Sterling came back. But it's just, if they want playmakers, they're going to have to bring a playmaker in. And I don't think they're going to go wide receiver. I think DK is not going to come to the Jets. I think he's not going to be in your Jet.
I don't think they're really in a position to draft him. Even if the Jets trade down, they might be looking at a guy like Montez Sweat, Rashawn Gary. There's other defensive players that would help us more than a guy like DK Metcalf.
Yeah. So we'll talk about more next week in more detail on what we think the Jets should draft. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bobby and Ali clocking out. See you guys.
Where y'all at?